Good morning, Joe. Good morning. Welcome to the Police 911 Fire Committee here for the City of Winter. Today is October 18th, 2023, and we will have reports from the Police Department, Chief of Police Mark Dvorak, Andrea Potacek, the PSAP Administrator. I like PSAP versus 911.
Sure.
And Public Safety Commissioner, maybe, on the Fire Department, looks like. Justin, Mark, go ahead and
All right,
Yeah.
start out with police. We are currently advertising for the one open officer position. That's going to be open, that advertising spot until the 30th. So if anyone out there listening or watching would like to apply, get with the ladies here at the city office and get yourself an application and turned into us. We have our two people in the academy, two officers in the academy. They're currently in, I believe, week 9. They've completed 8 weeks, so they have 5 weeks left for graduation. Everything from what I hear is going well with them. As far as numbers as traffic enforcement go for the last couple weeks, we've had 53 total traffic stops in the last couple weeks. 18 of those were in the construction zone, 35 were outside of construction. 34 of those stops were for speeding. So as you can see, the majority of our, or as you have heard, the majority of our traffic stops have been for speed enforcement. 13 of those speeding stops were in the construction zone. The rest of the 21 were outside of construction. Only 13 total citations. The speeds have gone down for the most part, where the violators haven't been cited. We are going to, so 13 total citations, 11 of those were for speeding, a couple other miscellaneous offenses mixed in there as well. There was a lot of headlight violations that kind of comes with the colder weather and rainy weather. The moisture gets into the people's headlights, or maybe they just forgot to turn them on during the when we're having rain. But they still need those when visibility is poor. Let's see. So 11 for speed. We are going to start increasing our enforcement out on the western half of the construction. Speeds we've noticed have started to increase up out there more. We've been mainly focused in the last month and a half of the eastern half of construction, where the more work has been done, I should say. They're going to focus a little more work out on the western half, so we're going to spend more time out there. And that is all I have. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
And I will just add that determination whether to be on the east or west, that comes from the conversations we have with the construction crews and the state, and kind of saying where our time and energy is best utilized for their safety and the safety of the community. And that's kind of where they're saying it looks like now we need it more over here. And so working very well with all the construction staff that's in town.
One question, when you issue citations, do you have a threshold? I mean, like speed, what's your threshold?
You kind of want to leave it up to
Citation
your
or
officer's discretion.
Well,
If
I
it's someone
realize
that, it's local, that we know it has been stopped more than once, we're not going to be as lenient on them, because obviously they're not getting the lesson or the information through their head that they should be slowing down. So instead of just a warning, they'll get a citation. For the most part, we'll leave it up to the officer's discretion. They can ride it with, you know, as much as, or for just 1 mile per hour over if they want to. That's rarely gonna happen in law enforcement, but they do have that option. We don't want to tell our officers, you must ride at this speed, but you don't ride at this speed. Obviously, if it's, you know, 10 miles per hour over, we're not gonna want those people to see a warning. We'd like to give them a citation, unless it's, you know, they obviously have a very good reason for their indiscretion of speeding. Maybe it's raining and it's hard to see the speed limit sign. There's various reasons why someone may not have seen a sign. They're beside a truck in a 4-lane and they can't see the speed sign. So there's reasons why they may not get a citation if it's maybe a little bit excessive speed. But for the most part, if they're going, you know, of that 6, 7, 8 miles per hour over, then there's a good chance they'll get a citation. But we like to leave it up to our discretion of our officers, and we want them to be consistent within their work. And they're not gonna write a citation to one person for 10 miles per hour over, and then the next person not, unless that person has a valid reason why they missed the speed limit sign and they're speeding in that particular speed zone.
So then for the public, the upper reaches of 10 over
No, not
would
just
be
that.
possibly a citation. Lower reaches of 10, like 0 to 5, 6, maybe a warning, 6 to 10.
Well, it really
You said
depends on-
anything over 10 was a ticket.
Possibly,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well,
That's
well,
the thing, Joe, there's so many
I'm just
different
trying to
variables
give the
that,
public a little bit of a, you know, where they're at exactly.
yeah. I mean, if you're going 7 miles, 8 miles per hour in a
Yeah.
15 miles per hour
That's
zone,
the upper
that's
reaches.
excessive for that
Yeah.
area. Maybe on a 45 mile per hour zone and you're going 52, 53, you may get a little more leeway in that instance. So, but we like to leave it up to our officers to have their own discretion on what
because
they.
traffic conditions are
feel
gonna
at the
be a factor, weather conditions are gonna be a factor. There is no hard limit. That's, as Mark was saying, it's going to be up to the discretion of the officer. But the hard limit is the speed limit.
The other night when we were talking about the new ordinance, you said there's gonna be 0 tolerance.
Zero tolerance in
So
town.
that's changing?
No.
From,
That is going to
It's
be
changing
zero
from what you're
tolerance.
saying now.
yeah, it's just saying from what you're
What you're saying now
to
is
zero.
just
No,
changing.
because those are two different areas also, because when we are looking at through town on the highway and stuff, that's why they're making those stops, and it's up to the discretion of the officer. When we switch to the 25-mile-an-hour speed limits in town, then on all the side streets, it's 0 tolerance. And that will be pushed down to the officers.
I was just
0
hearing,
tolerance.
I didn't know we were talking about the highway versus residential or school zones when Joe asked the question, so. I
Yeah,
thought that
there
needed
is
to be
no-
clarified.
There is no magic number to where you're gonna, we're gonna let you get away with 6 over.
Then
and
it comes
only
down to
give you a
if you
warning.
don't like a certain individual, he's 6 over, he gets a ticket. If you love this individual, at 6 over, he won't get a ticket.
No,
Is that
that's
you're
what,
saying? Okay.
no, because that's what Mark alluded to. He wants it consistent between all
what
the
I would-
officers.
That's
and
what I would
everyone
hope,
is
that
treated the
there's a
same.
consistency here.
Yep, everyone is
And how we
treated the
do it,
same.
if we give leniency, then we do it each time that particular set of constraints is reached, we give the same consistency or
It has
the
to be
same
consistent.
leniency.
Yes,
Okay, I'm clear.
has to
That
be
just goes to
consistent.
Question of the officers and the department's integrity. Keep that integrity, treat everyone equally, no matter their name, their position, or whatnot, as long as you're consistent, keep that integrity, we're gonna be doing a good job.
History has proven to us time and time again that when people think they know that the tolerance is 8 over, they're gonna drive it 7.5 over purposely.
Yes.
And that's one of the things I think that the PD, at least certainly when you get off in the residential areas and school zones, you're gonna try to get away from people expecting anything above the speed limit. You wanna keep them thinking that that is the speed limit.
Let me ask you a personal question. When you was a highway patrolman, what was your tolerance?
Depends on where it was at, Joe.
Okay.
If we were out on the interstate, I was, literally, it was about 8 over.
Yep.
If I was on,
Understood.
if I was on the 2-lane highway, probably 5. If we were in town, in a school zone, about 2. Yeah.
Thank you.
And it was interesting because even back then, the patrol did not officially have any kind of a tolerance. It was always up to the individual officer.
And it still is. That's the way it still is in our town also, up to the officer.
Well, I keep running into the wrong guy then, because there's no tolerance. Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Andrew, are you sure you want to go now?
I feel like mine's probably gonna be easier.
All right. Mark, that was easy though.
That was easy.
I just brought with me today a little update on the generator. I know Ron hadn't heard it. He's not with us today. So just kind of an update for Joe and everybody else. I brought the original proposal that Jeff brought to committee last week for the replacement of the transfer switch. Since then, we got an updated quote from them that also includes, that's the third page that I brought, that also includes them coming down and programming the switch to the actual machine once it's installed. So just a little additional there.
My apologies, I was gone. So it's gonna be the first place page plus the third page?
Correct. Yep, the original proposal Jeff brought to committee last week, and that's the, a little over 12,000 for the replacement for the transfer switch itself. I believe Jeff told me this morning that's already been ordered after the discussion at committee. And then the third page we received since then, and that's for the programming part, because they'll have to come back once it's installed. They don't install the switch, that has to be done by an electrician.
Are there two different people doing this, or is it the same company? It's the same company?
All the same company.
Then I would think that that 12,455 would include getting it hooked up.
No.
I mean, I'm not a techie guy, I don't understand a lot of tech stuff, but trying out loud, I mean, it looks like, you know, you put in a new switch, before you walked away, you'd make sure that the customer was in service, that it was working, and then another $1,000 bill, oh, no, we're gonna put it in, but, oh, we gotta have another grand to hook it up.
Well, so it's all the same company, from my understanding, it's all the same company, but it is a different technician that does the programming part of it. So like the switch, the first part is for the switch itself, and then that's just for the equipment. They don't do any of the installation. That's gonna be a separate quote, a separate process. And then there's another a technician will have to come and program it so that it communicates with our generator the way that it's supposed to. And that's what the additional $1,080 is for.
I'm late to come on this one because I was not at the previous meeting. Am I to assume that this is a proprietary switch?
Correct.
Yes,
Now,
correct.
reading the specs, I would guess it is, but it doesn't say so.
Yeah,
Can
that
we
was,
can we get them to give us something in the document that says it's proprietary to the system?
Yep.
sure, yeah. I don't think that would be an
I'm
issue.
sure they'll give it to us.
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah,
okay.
that's no problem. We had the electric, we had Ray and CJ come down to see if it was within their wheelhouse to install this switch. We haven't heard back what they decided on. If it is, we will have them do it
Great.
when they can. If it is not, then we're gonna have to go out for bids, obviously, with
Quotes.
or quotes, yeah, and then see who can do this. And then Jeff is still waiting on the quotes for the control panel as well, because that's the other piece to this. So that's,
And I'm sure I'm not talking to somebody that's never heard this before, but when you look at those issues about who might be installing it, you need to see if there's any fine print in the warranty information that requires their people to do it.
no, their people will not do
They
it.
won't.
Okay.
Their people will not do that. It has to be an electrician. So that's why we talked with,
Okay.
yes, that's why we talked with Ray and CJ to see if
Understand.
our people can do it, if they're comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And then if they are, that's the direction we'll go. If not, we'll go out for quotes to see
Okay.
who will do it for us.
Okay.
So there's still some more quotes coming in. When I talked to Jeff yesterday, he's thinking like lead time on this switch is February. So we've got a little time in there to figure out the rest of what we need to figure out.
And as soon as the control panel quote comes in, whether it's his committee or ours, whichever one meets first, we'll make sure that it's there as soon as we get it. But he did tell me that they asked for kind of a ballpark number just for conversational purposes, and it's probably gonna be right around the same as the cost of the transfer switch, in that 10 to 12,000 range.
And I think I'm clarifying here for Mr. Jensen, the reason he asked if this is proprietary,
Yeah.
you still have your quote sheet that you have to fill out unless it's, and you still have the
Yeah.
quote sheet to fill out.
Yep.
But obviously Butler is our guy.
Thanks for clarifying.
I knew where you were
That
going.
should have been
and-
in there, yeah, you're right. That's exactly where I was going.
Right.
Yeah, no, we completely understood that. That's not a problem.
Okay,
With everything, the control panel, this switch,
No,
the
it will-
electrician fixing it, all of that,
it'll be way less than 50.
it's, so that's, well, ultimately, that's what I'm asking. We're
Yeah.
not gonna hit
Yeah.
any bid thresholds.
No, we will not.
Because
But
that is a concern too.
I was reading your mind. We had that discussion in the last
Oh,
committee.
sure,
so-
sorry.
And actually, that had been part, that's why we tried to get preliminary numbers to see if we were even gonna be close to the threshold, and no, we're not.
So because of the cost of this, because it's a piece of equipment that's now attached to your infrastructure, it becomes an infrastructure upgrade project, so then it actually falls underneath that 100,000. But we do have to take into consideration what the electrician cost is going to be as well.
Yeah. And we were actually operating underneath the 50 still, so we're not gonna be close to that even,
Okay.
so no, we'll be well with under bid laws.
Back to you, ma'am.
The only other thing that I had, and I know Justin touched on it Monday in our notes, the two newest hires that we have just entered their third phase of training. We talked a little bit about it at last committee. That essentially means that they are the second chair in the room. They're still always working with somebody who's able to help them and be supportive if they need additional. You know, there's always things during training that don't necessarily come up, so they always are with somebody that will be able to help them in the event that those things do come up, but they are officially second chair now. So, that's good. They're both doing very well, very well.
Financials look good. Okay. On to you, big guy.
Well, about all I have with the roof is what Councilman Sprinkle has told me. Still trying to reach out to the fire department to see exactly what's happening, but apparently there is.
What roof?
At the fire hall. There's
Okay.
a leak in the roof.
Does Councilman Sprinkle represent the fire department?
No, but they
Okay.
asked Councilman Sprinkle to come down and look at it, so he went and looked at it and then told me what was going on, and he said Darren and Jason both know, so I'm trying to reach out to them and get a little more hard knowledge of what's going on, and then we need to go out and get quotes to fix it, so that's where that's at.
Floor is open. Councilman, you've asked questions, but you can have more.
No, I'm good.
That's all we got.
You guys do a great job, so it's awesome.
I think we're good. We'll cut the stream here in about 3-4 minutes.
You're not very nice.
Need to stop and take a nap real quick.